We have an incredible guest speaker tonight. We have two surprises for you. We have an incredible guest speaker. I guess technically it's not a surprise because his picture is on the flyer, but it's a great news for those of you who haven't seen him or heard him. And then if you stay until the end, which you're going to want to stay until the end, we do have another guest speaker coming on. So you don't want to miss out. Don't leave early. Pause whatever else is going on. Hang out with us and really lean in and take advantage of this opportunity. So I have the honor to present our guest speaker tonight. He is someone who truly understands what it takes to win in this industry, not just personally, but through building people. Christian has been in the financial industry for about 10 years now. And during his time, he hasn't just had success. He's built it consistently. He's built massive organizations nationwide, including leaders across multiple states. And under his leadership, he's produced six figures and multiple six figures while helping others do the same. One of the things that I respect the most about Christian and I admire and look up to isn't just like the income or the size of his team. It's his ability to build people. It's his leadership. He understands systems. He understands duplication. He understands how to take someone from brand new to confident to produce at a high level. So if you're a guest on tonight's call, this is someone who you truly want to listen to. And if you're a part of our team, you definitely want to take notes from him because he's not just talking theory. He's speaking from experience. Okay, so without further ado, I want all of you to give a big warm welcome and help me bring up our National Marketing Director, Christian Flores. Christian,
Wow.
the floor is yours.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Alina. Guys, do me a favor and put a number one in the chat box for Alina. That's not easy to simply be a host. Most people would rather catch fire and die than to publicly speak. And I believe this was Alina's first time hosting on a national level. So great job. That's seven-figure material right there. It's no wonder you're just crushing it in this business. And you're an amazing mom. It was awesome meeting your daughter or your sister. She looks like your sister at our most recent company conference. But thank you, Alina. That was amazing. And welcome to all of you who are first-time guests. I personally want to thank you for taking the time on a Thursday evening to be here. Some of you are calling in from the East Coast. It's 9 p.m. You're pretty crazy. Some of you are calling in from Texas or the Central. What is it? It's about 8 o'clock right now. I'm calling in from from the West Coast, so it's about 6 o'clock here. And then some of you are calling in from Hawaii, right? I believe it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon there. Wherever you're calling in from, welcome and thank you for taking your time. I promise you your time here is going to be, it's going to be worth it. I'm a big believer in being a plus in people's lives and not a minus. And so in a world where there's a lot of negativity these days, I definitely want to shine some light and add value to you tonight. So again, thank you. And do me a favor, you guys, put a number 2 in the chat box if you were our first time guest here. I personally want to just give you a shout out. First time guests on the call, I want to give you a shout out. Look at all these first time guests, you guys. You know, if we were in person right now and if we were inside of a hotel conference room or in our office, I'd personally want to shake your hands, give you a hug, and introduce you to some Vietnamese coffee because that's my thing. No wonder Alina did so well because she was drinking some Vietnamese coffee. That's my drug. That's my secret to success right there, you guys. If you've never tried Vietnamese coffee, that's exactly what this meeting is all about. It's to sell you Vietnamese coffee. Pull out your credit cards, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and start. So look, you were invited here for a reason, and I hopefully you weren't forced to be here. Put a number 1 if you were forced to be here. You have zero idea. You were forced against your will. You're like, oh my gosh, where am I? What is this? If you were forced, well, you're here anyway. Just might as well stay. We locked the Zoom room, so even if you tried to leave, you couldn't. And if you have your cameras off, believe it, I could see you right now. You right there laying down on the bed with no shirt on. Yep, I see you. Right. So anyway, look, you guys, I want to set the room. I want to set the tone for the environment tonight. I want to encourage you to have 3 things in mind before I share my screen and dive right into the information I'm going to share with you all here. So 3 things that I'd like to encourage you to have in mind. Number 1, I want to encourage you to be open to change. Now, guys, would you agree with me if I told you that change is the only thing constant in life, right? Here's the thing, we're either forced to change or we choose to change. We're either reacting or we're either reactive or we are proactive. It's a lot better to be proactive in life, right? And so I want to encourage you to be open to change. Number two, I want to encourage you to dream again, right? Now I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, maybe a little bit preachy, but I want to tell you, having big dreams is actually really practical in life. Do me a favor. How many of you in here actually have big dreams in life still? Right? Anybody? You know why I asked that question? Because it breaks my heart that throughout my 10-year career in this industry, a lot of people have downsized their dreams to match their current reality. And, I believe that a dream is nothing but a thought asking for permission to live. And so I want to encourage you, dream. We live in a country where you can dream for free. So you might as well dream big, right? We just celebrated 250 years of this country and we have the freedom to dream. So you might as well dream big, right? The third thing I want to encourage you to be open to is to have an open mind. I learned 10 years ago that your mind works like a parachute. It only works if it's open. So if I can encourage you to have those three things in mind, I believe this information today could quite literally change your life. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we're going to go ahead and dive right in. So give me 1 second, everybody. Okay. So there's three questions I want to ask you before we start. So number one, do you know someone who should hear this message? Number two, can this information help you, your family, and your friends? And number three, are you intrigued by this business? If it's a yes, yes, and yes, there may be a good fit here. If it's a yes, no, yes, or a no, no, yes, or a yes, yes, no, or a no, 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 it's okay. My encouragement to you is to think of people within your life that could benefit from this kind of information, okay? So with that being said, I am so proud to introduce to all of you the name of our firm. Vantage Financial Alliance is the name of our company. Vantage for short. We are the fastest growing financial brokerage in the country today. And I'm so proud to say that because Vantage is changing the industry. We are innovating the industry. We are changing the way that people experience financial services. And we are changing the way that people do business in financial services. We are a company, one of its kind, right? Now, Vantage, what we do, everybody, is we bridge the gap between middle America and financial education. There's a powerful saying here, people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. Has anyone ever heard of that before? Or does that even maybe resonate with you, right? So why is this important? Well, we're a different kind of financial services company because most financial services companies focus only on the wealthy, leaving so many families underserved. See, there's a dramatic need for what we do, you guys, because let me give you some facts right here, okay? Under 40% of Americans can afford a $1,000 emergency expense, and over 100 million Americans are uninsured and underinsured when it comes to protection. So I want to give you other facts that don't show on here, but there's over 330 million Americans, right? And there's over 300,000 financial professionals. Majority of these financial professionals are reaching retirement age. So that means for every 1,100 families, there's only one good financial professional. But here's the reality. Most of these financial professionals anyway focus only on the wealthy people. So this creates a major gap. Financial literacy is a major lack in middle America, you guys. And that's why we do what we do. We have the need, we have the services, we have the solutions. We just don't have enough agents or brokers or professionals to supply that need. So we're on a crusade. And that's actually one of the reasons I got into this industry 10 years ago, everybody. I was 18 years old when I got started. I'm 29 years old now. It'll be my 11th year by the end of this month. I got my license at 18 years old, and it changed my life because growing up inside of an immigrant household, Liz, I only knew how to work hard for money, but I didn't know how to make money work hard for me. So I always had this identity that in order to be successful financially, I had to have a special last name. I had to have a certain college degree. I had to come from a special kind of background. And then I realized that is far from the truth. I learned something, everybody. Traditional education makes you a living. Self-education makes you a fortune. I'm a byproduct of having mentors in my life, leaning on proven leadership and leveraging a proven system. So along the way, some years later, I met my wife through this industry. Now together, we've been full-time building our agency. We have about 300 agents and across the country, serving over 1,000 families and counting. And we're raising a family together. Our son is turning 4 years old next month, and we plan on having 5 to 7, maybe 10 more kids, God willing, because why not? I love kids. It's also fun to make kids, right? Sorry. So, not sorry. That's just human biology. So, anyways, guys, let's get to business here, right? So that's a little bit about me. I'm nobody special. I'm no better than any of you, right? But I will tell you this. I took advantage of an opportunity 10 years ago when this industry changed my life. I love this industry. So that being said, I also want to share with you here that one of the biggest challenges in life today is running out of money in retirement. Did you guys know that there's a great shift in personal responsibility? Because for many years in the past, these three things were a combination of what retirement used to be, right? Social Security, pensions, and personal savings. Unfortunately, today, ladies and gentlemen, Social Security is now considered social insecurity or social security. It's going to deplete within the next couple of years. Company pensions are slowly becoming a thing of the past, unless you serve 20 years in the military, right? And then personal savings are at an all-time low. Does anyone know what the average inflation rate is today? What is the current inflation rate today? Does anyone know? Feel free to put it on the chat box, right? Anyone know what the inflation rate today is? Anyone even know what inflation is? They call it the silent killer or the silent tax. Inflation rate today, if I'm not mistaken, is 4.2%. 4.2%. Now, you know what that means? If your bank account savings is earning 0.01%, which is the national average on a savings account, that means you have no buying power, which also means that even if you're earning 1% or 2% or even 3% in a high yield savings, you're barely increasing your buying power. That's why life is expensive in most cases. So that's why a lot of these companies provide 401ks or IRAs. The thing is, people were not ready for this kind of responsibility, let alone were they educated about how these accounts work. And that's why the reality in retirement today, everybody, is majority of people in middle America are outliving their money, and they are forced to stay at work through their 60s and 70s. This is a major, major problem that we are helping prevent, and we need help in doing so. Does this make sense, everybody? Now, what if it was possible? What if you could be 100% protected from loss on a market downturn? Okay. What if you can build a tax advantage retirement income and have the latest products to properly protect your family? So I call this a financial Swiss Army knife. And here's what I mean by this. We teach people the three phases of money. The three effects or the three phases of money, these are the three things that the wealthy live and breathe. So the first phase of money is called the compound effect. The first effect is called the compound effect. Compound effect is the eighth wonder of the world, okay? If you understand compound interest, you earn it. If you don't understand it, you pay it. So let me simplify this for you. Has anyone here heard of the rule of 72? The rule of 72 was hyped by Albert Einstein. You know what formula he created that we learned in school? E equals mc squared. By show of hands or by putting a number 1 in the chat box, have any of you ever applied that formula in your life that we learned in school? E equals mc squared. Anybody? Anybody? Oh, wow. Really, Lolina, you applied the E equals. I'm curious. You know what? I'm going to end the call right now. I want to get with Lolina. I want to learn this. This is important. We learned this in school. So I want to know this formula and how I could apply it in my life, right? So what's my point? Albert Einstein also hyped this rule called the rule of 72. You take 72 and you divide it by an interest rate that you're earning, and it tells you how many years it takes your money to double. So I want to give you guys an example. If you plant a tree and the tree grows, that's called simple interest, right? But imagine that same tree that you planted that grew is planting seeds on its own, and eventually it becomes a forest. That's called compound interest, right? Now, if you look at a 1% interest and you're 26 years young with a one-time deposit of $10,000 in an account, 72 years later, your money doubles to $20,000 because 72 divided by 1 is 72 years. Hey, how many 72 years do we have in our life, by the way? Hopefully one, right? Now, What if you're earning 4% on your money? Same age, same deposit. Now your money's doubling every 18 years. Look, 18 years later at age 44, your money doubled to $20,000. Okay. But look at this 18 years after that, you're only 62. Your money doubled to $40,000. And then 18 years after that, you're at $80,000. What's the trend here? What if you're earning 8%? That means you're doubling every 9 years. So 9 years later, you're at 20. 9 years after that, you're at 40. By age 80, you're at 640,000. And so on and so forth. You see, the idea behind compound interest, everyone, is for your money to earn interest, and that interest earning interest, earning interest, earning interest, earning interest, like a snowball effect. That is the idea behind compound interest, right? But see, the unfortunate reality is that middle class America is paying these interest rates in credit card debt, while the wealthy are earning these rates to build their wealth. It's completely upside down, like Stranger Things. Anyone here watch Stranger Things, the upside down world? It's literally the complete opposite. You see, what the wealthy think is, where can I take my hard-earned money to make it work harder for me so I'm not just working harder for it, right? If this just made sense to you, put a letter C in the chat box. The second effect on money is how money grows, right? So now we talked about the compound effect. Let's talk about the risk effect. And there's three ways that money grows. There's fixed, there's variable, and then outside the box, there's what's called indexed. You see, most people are inside the box, okay? The minority are outside the box. You know what's funny? What's interesting is I learned this from a mentor. If the minority are the ones that make most of the money and they're the ones that are the most wealthiest, why do we tend to follow the majority, right? Think about that for a second. All right. Inside the box, most people have their money tied in a fixed account, right? These are low to no interest environments, right? You're below inflation, you're barely getting by with inflation. These are okay to have for short-term savings, emergency funds, things of that nature, but not really the most smartest plan if we want to save long-term, like retirement. The second bucket is called variable. This is where your money is tied to the volatility of the market, right? So think IRA, think 401k, think mutual funds, etc. This is where you have upside potential, but downside risk. You take the rain, you take the gain, right? Now, let's look at index growth. It's outside the box because you have the best of both worlds, meaning you have upside potential with downside protection. Imagine your principal and your gains are secured, locked in, and you'll never lose. This type of account actually exists. And this is nothing new, by the way. You see, a lot of people think they got to sacrifice a return to get safety, or they got to sacrifice safety to get return. Well, index brings together the best of both worlds. One of my favorite books is by T. Harv Eker, and it's called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. What I learned in this book is that wealthy people, they choose both. Meaning, hey, do I choose a happy family or a lot of money? Both. Do I choose risk or do I choose safety? Both, right? See, a lot of the unsuccessful think you got to choose one for the other. Well, the wealthy believe in having both, and that's exactly what indexed growth can give you, right? Now, the third effect is called the tax effect. You know, as long as we live in this country, we're going to pay taxes. Did you guys know that? I hope you guys know that, right? So inside the box, money is taxed always, taxed later, or outside the box, taxed never, right? Let's look at inside the box really quick. Most people are here, the majority. See, taxable accounts are tax now or tax always accounts. These are bank accounts. These are brokerage accounts. These are high yield savings accounts, real estate. These types of accounts is where you're taxed on your income, you're taxed on accumulation, and then you're taxed on anything you purchase or even anything you sell, right? Like a brokerage account, right? You're just always taxed here. Now, tax deferred. Deferred is just a fancy word for later or procrastination. Tax deferred accounts, this is where you're putting in pre-tax dollars and it's giving you tax deferred growth, meaning it's not taxed on the growth, but it will be taxed on the withdrawal, right? I want you guys to remember this because most people are here. Outside the box is tax advantage. This is where you're putting in post-tax dollars so that your growth is tax-free and you can have tax-free access to your money later on. These types of accounts exist. Now, my question to you is this, everybody. Do you think taxes will go down or up in the future? What do you guys think? Up, right? If will taxes go down or will it go up in the future? See, here's the thing. We don't know what the future holds, right? But the trends show that taxes will continue to go up. And now here's the reality. Most people are stuck in these two types of buckets, not realizing they can have tax advantages. So if you're a farmer and you have to pay taxes, would you rather pay taxes on the seed or your taxes on the harvest? Where would you rather pay your tax if you have to pay? You have to pay. You can't evade taxes. You'll go to jail, but you could avoid taxes. That's completely legal if you have the right plan in place, right? See, if I'm a farmer, I'd rather pay my taxes on the seed so that I can have my harvest tax free, right? So that's outside the box, everybody. Now, outside of building tax-free wealth, earning a steady interest, and being protected from market downturn, I also want to share with you guys the ultimate protection plan over your financial household here and how you can build a strong financial foundation. I want to introduce you to living benefits. You know, less than 1% of people in the US have living benefits. See, inside the box, when it comes to the idea of life insurance, middle class America thinks it's just something you have to die to use. Well, outside the box, I want to introduce you to living benefits where in case of a cancer, heart attack, or stroke, imagine being able to access your own death benefit within your living years so that you can cover both living and medical expenses at the same time. Do you know why this is so important, ladies and gentlemen? Because the moment illness strikes, income stops. You know, every 40 seconds, someone suffers a heart attack and a stroke, right? 2 million cases of cancer diagnosed in recent years. Alzheimer's is one of the fastest growing and most expensive diseases in America today. 82% of GoFundMe accounts on social media never reach its goals, right? 60% of bankruptcies and 40% of home foreclosures tied to medical debt. Should I go on? Right, you can fact check me, by the way, right? Because I got my facts straight, right? But this is a reality, everybody. I want to tell you a quick story. There's a client who's actually an agent in this business, and he opened $1 million policy for himself. 6 months after getting insured, he got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, lymphoma. He was able to receive $794,000 in living benefits tax-free. And the money took care of his living expenses and it took care of his family. You know what the most important part about this is? The most impactful part about this story? He was able to cover 3 treatments that cost him over $200,000 out of pocket. And thank God, because of living benefits, he was able to cover it. Today, he's cancer-free as I speak today. We have another client who's in her 30s. She's from Seattle, Washington. She opened a policy for $250,000. After a year, she got diagnosed with stage 2 ovarian cancer. She was able to make a living benefits claim from her policy, and the money took care of her living and medical expenses. Today, she is cancer-free, in remission. She even started her own care home business. And I remember when we visited her with our other team members in Seattle, she told us, she was like, Christian, Chloe's my wife, by the way. She said, Christian, Chloe, I'll be honest. I think I recovered fast because I wasn't financially stressed. You know, I told her, wow, you know what? I actually agree with you. See, what we do here is important, you guys. I'm a father and I'm a husband. If you have children, if you have a family, put a number 1 in the chat box. I want to know. I just, because this is what I'm about to tell you might just really touch your heart, right? I'm a father and I'm a husband. If I don't have the right plan in place, what good is me building wealth? What good is me having all these investments or having wealth or whatnot if I end up getting sick? If I don't have the right type of life insurance in place and it's just for when I die and I end up getting sick and I can't work, you know, that would force my wife to be my caregiver. That would create physical, financial, emotional, and mental burden. My wife might just even kill me herself because that's how stressed out she is. Right? That's why having the right financial plan in place is really important, everybody. We have another agent that's in this company. He's actually one of the best financial wealth strategists in the game. His name is Mike Wilson, right? Mike Wilson, he's a very wealthy individual and he's in our company. He's an agent in our company. And he received $500,000 from his Transamerica policy, right? So most life insurance companies out there offer living benefits today, right? And he was able to receive a $500,000 living benefit claim from his policy. And he used that money to take care of his physical, of his financial, his living and medical expenses at the same time, right? Even though, by the way, he's wealthy, right? And so
Yeah.
he's worth about $10 million, by the way, right? Mike Wilson, he's worth about $10 million outside of this business. And I remember he told me, Christian, whether it was $300,000 or $400,000, even though my net worth is at 10 million, why would I want to touch any of the investments that I worked hard to build when I can use my life insurance money to take care of my living and medical expenses? That's the real OPM. OPM stands for other people's money. If you're Filipino, I'm not talking about the Tagalog love songs. I'm talking about other people's money. Okay. So with that being said, right, I'm proud to tell you that we offer the financial Swiss Army knife of financial planning here, right? So imagine you have a life insurance policy that, yes, provides a death benefit tax-free. You guys understand life insurance is the fastest, most affordable, most efficient way to transfer generational wealth tax-free. It's the only plan where you're paying pennies to get a dollar immediately. Can you imagine that? You get an instant estate with a life insurance plan. Now, on top of that, you get to build a tax-free saving strategy for retirement where you have the upsides, but not the downsides. And then you have living benefits tied in. So what you're looking at here is the iPhone of life insurance or the Android of life insurance. Do me a favor, everybody. There's about 142 people on this call nationwide. If you have an iPhone, put a number 1 in the chat box. If you have an Android, put a number 2 in the chat box. Where you at? I just want to know. I'm curious who's got the iPhone and who has the Android, right? iPhone users, Android users. If you are an Android user, you can respectfully press a red button called End and Leave Meeting. I only want iPhone users in this team. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding, you guys. We are the Android of life insurance. Okay? We are the Android of iPhone of life insurance. As long as you don't have a BlackBerry phone, or as long as you don't have a flip phone, because that's what most people have in terms of the life insurance, in terms of life insurance in general. So with that being said, you guys, with our firm here at Vantage, we are partnered with some of the top with some of the top life and retirement companies in the industry. You're looking at a world-class lineup. See, we are able to provide a toolbox and not just one tool, right? And I'm proud to say that because I actually came from a firm where we only offered one tool. Now, here's the thing, one tool does not fix all problems. I learned that. I learned that the hard way, in all my years in the industry, right? This industry is huge, you guys, and this industry has evolved. And we're so proud to select quality products from these companies and provide the right financial plans based on our clients' financial goals and their needs. I'll give you guys a quick example here, right? Corebridge Financial has one of the best living benefits in the industry today. The most competitive cost of insurance on their term products, where you can get $2 million in living up to $2 million in living benefits. And it's just very strong and it's very competitive. Ethos has one of the best final expense products in the market today. Quantum, Quantum is one of our key partners. My wife and I and a few of our key partners were able to fly to New York, and we went to the New York Stock Exchange, and we had a meeting at the Goldman Sachs headquarters because Quantum is partnered with a company that has the New York Stock Exchange in their books, in their book of business, and Goldman Sachs. So these are multi-billion dollar companies that we are partnered with, everybody. Allianz, one of the strongest multinational companies in the game today, right? And so my point is this, you guys, we have a very solid toolbox to offer for our clients. And I'm so proud that we can represent options for them, and they get to make an educated decision on which company, which product is the best fit for them, right? So with that being said, what we do that's unique with clients is we sit down and we do a comprehensive financial needs analysis. So we sit down with clients and we identify 6 things with them, like increasing cash flow, managing debt, creating emergency fund, proper protection, building wealth, and preserving wealth. It's like putting your financials through an MRI, and you're able to see any potential blind spots that a financial professional here at Vantage can help you with, right? And create a customized action plan for you. I've been able to sit down with many clients, do an F&A with them at no cost, and we're able to identify if there's a need for them to increase cash flow, minimize debt, increase their disposable income for better protection, and see where we can create new benefits and savings with old money, right? So this is something we do that's unique that a lot of other firms out there are not doing, right? So guys, with that being said, I want to go ahead and share with you here about the expansion of our firm. See, a lot of people tend to ask, well, what does it look like as an agent? Now, by the way, how many of you put a number one in the chat box if you actually see value in the financial services and the financial education that we provide to the marketplace out there? Put a number one, right? This is what we teach people. We teach people how money works. People ask me all the time, Christian, what's your elevator pitch? What do you do for a living? Well, I'll tell you what I do for a living. We help people make and save money. What do you mean by that? Well, financial services is what we do, right? We teach people about financial education, how money works. And I also recruit agents, help them get licensed, and help them develop their own brokerage and agencies so that they can go out there and impact their communities. That is what I do. It's as simple as that, right? But it's so powerful and it's so impactful. Because here's the thing, you guys. Do you know why there's a lot of people out there that's joining our company and partnering up with us? You want to know why we're the fastest growing financial firm in the country today? You want to know why? Because what we're doing is solving a big problem. We have a huge solution to a big need. We just don't have enough agents to supply that need. So it's a perfect time to become a financial professional. And if I have my facts straight, in the last 28 years, cost of living has gone up by 132%, yet income has only gone up by 28 to 30%. So there is a gap. Would you agree that it would be fair for you to build a spare tire for your income, or maybe have a twin income? Well, you get to do that by learning how to become your own boss and set your own schedule, control your income. You get to grow your financial IQ and even leave a legacy. And let me show you how. In our platform, we have a low startup cost. The only thing you have to invest in is a life insurance license. Okay. All you have to do is pass a state quiz. It's a 70%. Can you pass with a C minus? If you're in California, it's only a D minus to pass on a 75 question multiple choice quiz. And it's a low startup cost. Okay. There's business ownership. I want to make a point about this really quick. If you don't own your own business, you will always rent your success from someone who owns a business. Okay. That was a slap in the face to me, but it was also true. Now, here at Vantage, you have real ownership over your business. You own your book of business. You own the agency that you build. You get to have, there's equity tied to what you build. You get to have a piece of the company. And if ever we have a defining event, where I came from, you guys, there's a lot of firms out there, by the way, that don't give you real ownership on your business. There's firms out there where you're really just a glorified agent making as much money as you can, but you don't really have real ownership in what you're building. Vantage is the first of its kind that has the friendliest agent contract in the industry. If you sign up with us, I actually want you to read the contract. Please do. Please read our agent agreement for anyone that partners up with us. Because one of the mistakes I've made, ladies and gentlemen, was in the past, I would register as an agent for other companies, and then I would find out, whoa, hold on, there's red flags. Well, do me a favor. If you decide you like this company and this opportunity and you want to partner up with us, do me a favor and read the agent agreement, right? We have the friendliest agent agreement in the industry, everybody. You have real ownership in what you build, and you get to build a company within a company, truly. Okay. We provide on-the-job training, mentorship from top leadership, and you get unlimited income potential and time freedom potential. If these are things that you're looking for, this is the opportunity that can, quite frankly, change your life, you guys. You know, I'm being mentored directly by Jeff Levitan. Jeff Levitan is an industry legend. You know, in 30 years being in this industry, being in the game, let me tell you, in the last 28 years, he was with a broker dealer and became 20% of that company. Imagine Jeff Levitan built an organization that would recruit 62,000 agents a year. Imagine Jeff himself, he developed 40 millionaires, two of them making $10 million a year. Some of them that actually started their own deals in this industry, right? And his team would produce about 250, 260 million points or production within $1 billion company. So he was 20% of $1 billion broker dealer. And you know what's interesting is when I found out that Jeff Levitan's the CEO and chairman of this deal, it actually made me feel like, whoa, why is that? When I saw his name attached to this company, I was like, what's going on? Why would that be? He should be playing golf. He has nothing to prove. He is the Michael Jordan of this industry. He built this thing at the highest levels. So I was so serious that we flew to Georgia from California for one day just to sit down with Jeff. He picked us up from the airport, drove 2 hours. He lives in Alpharetta or Milton, Georgia. He picked us up, and then we had dinner, and I looked him straight in the eye, and I'm like, hey, Jeff, why are you doing this? Why did you buy this company 3 years ago? Right? You bought this company from the founder, and why? I just don't get it. And you know what he told me? Word for word. He told me this. He said, Christian, I wanted to take everything that I hated in the last 28 years about this industry that most people don't ever question and make it better, where a company is truly geared towards agent growth, where there's real ownership, where agents are getting paid top dollar, and where it's not so top heavy. And if there's extra juice to squeeze out of that orange, that extra juice should go to the field. Too many companies out there are ran by corporate America. Well, we're a company that's different. This is an agency that's built by an agent for agents. This is a company that's built by actual wartime leaders for other wartime leaders, right? I don't know any other firm out there that is positioned like that, right? Because a lot of people in corporate America, they make decisions that on behalf of people, where these people on the top never even experience what it's like to be in the field. That's why there's a lot of people in middle America and corporate America that's overworked and underappreciated, overworked and underpaid, right? Do any of you in here relate? This is why Vantage is changing the game. We're actually therapeutic for society. We're actually therapeutic for the marketplace. What we're doing here is so special, everybody. And so what we have is a proven system for anyone that comes on board with us. What you're looking at is our business format system. This is a step-by-step proven system that'll help you build your business to generate unlimited clients and unlimited talent. We have a proven system there. Now, what does the income potential look like for an agent? Here's the income potential. And I'm not going to apologize for this, because this is facts. If you become an agent with us and you help 4 clients per month, that's about $9,360 that you can make, potentially even more. That's a 6-figure income on the side. It takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to help one family. So if you spend 2 hours per week, that's 8 hours in a month for you to make an additional 6-figure income. Would that be okay? Is that okay, by the way? Can you spend 2 hours to make 6 figures in a year, 2 hours per week? Because that's what this opportunity gives you. Now, you have the option to go from agent to agency, right? If you want to go from a barber to a barbershop owner, if you want to go from a hairstylist to the owner of a hair salon, if you want to go from a 5-star chef to the owner of a 5-star restaurant, matter of fact, if you want to go from a burger flipper at McDonald's to owning the whole dang McDonald's, you can build an agency, because we have the structure for that. And we have the best compensation to back that up. If you build a team of 5 agents, not 10, not 100, not 1,000, if you build a team of 5 serious people, you can average $25,000 a month in income. That's a $300,000 cash flow for you on top of your full-time job. You might even go full-time. Now, the phase that my wife and I are in right now is scaling a brokerage. One of the highest paid positions in life is being a leader, right? If you think you have leadership traits and you'd like to skill that up and invest in people, this is part of what we do. Imagine helping people get out of jobs and businesses that they hate. And because of that, you're able to generate a 6-figure income on a monthly basis, not a yearly, on a monthly basis. A yearly income can literally turn into a weekly income if you have the drive, if you have the passion for it. But my point is this, everybody, you have no limit to how far and how high you can take this business opportunity. This is where you can have income, the unlimited income potential and time freedom potential, right? So my sister-in-law, she is a single mom. She has two kids. She's making over $400,000. She made over $400,000 last year. One of my best friends, his name is Renny Garcia. He made over $1 million in this industry in the last 12 months. He's tracking to make about $3 million in the next 12 months. In the next 12 months. In the last 12 months, my wife and I made over $400,000. In the next 12 months, we're tracking to get to $1.2 million in cash flow, right? Because of the way that our system is designed, right? We have a good friend named Andre Genovese from Hawaii, who's been in our company for 1 year now, and he's been making $100,000 a month ever since he came on board with us, right? The income here is, it's a serious potential, you guys, right? And you get to learn from a proven mentor like Jeff Levitan, who's a real leader that's out in the field, and you get to learn from someone who's been there, done that, and still doing it. right? That should tell you something. Success leaves clues, don't it? So the potential of the market is huge, everybody. Like I mentioned, everyone needs to learn about these outside the box products. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're teaching middle America how money works. We're teaching people not just how to save money and protect their money. We're teaching people how to make money as well, right? Now we recognize our agents as well. We have conventions every single year. We just had a great convention out there in Georgia. When you make a six-figure income, you're awarded a Super Bowl style ring, right? We recognize our agents for their hard work, and this is actually just all a byproduct of the families that you're serving and the families that you're helping. You get to be a part of a winning environment. We also travel the world together as well, right? So look, before I bring up our surprise guest speaker, right? We're at about 10 minutes till the hour, the top of the hour here. But I do want you all to know here, there's one of three options or one of four options that I'd like for you to consider. Option one, maybe you want to take advantage of a complimentary financial needs analysis with the person that invited you if you are satisfied with your career and discretionary income. Option two, start your part-time career and build a license and become a licensed professional with control of your time and income potential. Option number three, build a business, become a broker who opens a business within a company. Or option number four, none of the above, but you can be a referral source for the person that invited you. Because if you like the type of information we educate people on, the least that you can do, which would mean a lot to the person that invited you, is refer maybe 2 or 3 people within your network that can benefit from this information alone. Because our goal and our focus is to go out there and impact on a massive level and on a massive scale. Okay, everybody? So if you learned something new tonight, do me a favor and put a number 1 in the chat box, you guys. Put a number 1 if you have learned something. So look, I want to bring someone up here. You guys are in for a treat, right? We don't always do this, by the way. I actually reached out to him, and this was earlier this morning, and he's Eastern time. And you know what? He's a very busy individual, but he was able to squeeze in time for this. And so I need everyone to pay attention. And you know what, you guys, this is a huge, huge deal, because how many companies do you know out there where you've actually met the founder? Anyone? How many companies out there where the founder is actually so involved in the field helping the company scale, right? That this guy right here is such a gem. We're so blessed to work alongside this gentleman. And you know, he's been 40 years in this industry. He's actually helped 2 major companies scale to very high levels. He's built an agency of 10,000 codes in his career. Now he's building the best financial services firm in the entire industry that the industry and the marketplace has ever seen. And this guy's energy doesn't die. This guy has the energy of an 18-year-old, even as the founder of the company. And I'm so blessed not just to be led by him as our founder, but to also call him friend. This guy teaches me things outside of business as well. And I just appreciate his time. So do me a favor, everybody. Put a JB on the chat box for John Benham, and let's welcome the founder of Vantage Financial Alliance, Mr. John Benham. Hey, John, thanks so much for your time. I want to go ahead and give the floor to you. I know it's almost 10 o'clock Eastern time out there, so I'll go ahead and give the floor to you, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christian. I just got home from the gym, so I'm still got my adrenaline rush going, so we're good. It's a pleasure to be with all you guys tonight. I saw the flyer for this meeting. You have Alina, obviously, as a co-host there with Christian. They both do a fantastic job. And you hear that introduction, and let me share the other side of the coin of where I started from, not just briefly, but I grew up in Southern California. I was born in Van Nuys, grew up in Fountain Valley, Santa Ana. I kind of moved all around because we were very middle class poor. My dad was not a good provider, couldn't pay the rent. We went months at a time without power. We moved to Georgia when I was 15, and having no power here is even worse because it does get cold no matter what people think. And I just remember just growing up thinking, there's got to be more to life than just being this broke. And I made a decision one night in 10th grade in high school. I was climbing into a sleeping bag on a pull-out sofa in the living room. I didn't have a bedroom in this house. My 3 sisters had the other bedroom. My mom and dad had the other bedroom. And I just said, no matter what happens to me in life, when I have a wife and I have kids, I don't want them to feel what I'm feeling right now. Because it was tough. You know, being in high school is tough anyway, but when you're broke and you have no power and sometimes no food, I mean, it was rough going. And so the reason I say that is because all this industry, when Christian said, it can do so much for you. It's changed my life. It really has. My last job, and don't laugh at me, prior to getting in this industry, I was a parts driver for a Chevy dealership straight out of high school. And I found this business when I was 19. And so I was young, kind of like Christian was when he found it. And it's changed my life. And it really can change yours too. And the reason I say that is you heard Christian and Alina give the presentation tonight. And there's three things I think that hope came across in this meeting tonight. The first one is we are made up, our company, of good people that are doing good things to help people. What we do makes a difference. So it's not a bunch of people that are just trying to sell you on something that are these, there's so many strange people out there nowadays, people who don't have the best intentions. But I hope you saw tonight from the presentation, we have great people that are doing great things to help people. That's the first one. Number two, I hope that you saw, especially in those last few slides, there's money to be made. There's money to be made in helping people. You share these concepts and you can make some really serious money. And the third one, this is probably, those are both critical, but the second one, as far as you, is super important. It's, can you do it? Because if it was great and people were wonderful and the money was great, but it was brain surgery, it required some business that required some kind of wild talent or math skills, I'd have been out. I didn't have any of that. I was a high school graduate, never set foot in a college, never, this is my life. And so what I'm letting you know is anyone from any walk of life, if they really want to help people, they'd like to make some money and be involved in something that's powerful and the timing is right, Vantage is for you. And I think nowadays that message is even stronger than ever. I have a friend of mine, she's 29. She's never been married. She's been looking for her husband. I've been trying to help her find one. But she wanted to have 4 kids. And she told me the other day, I don't think I want to have kids anymore. And I was like, why? She goes, I'm so scared about the job market and the economy. And it wasn't just the recent AI coming in, replacing jobs. She started to notice that when her parents came up, back 20, 30 years ago, especially in Southern California, there was not a situation where husbands and wives both had to work. One of them stayed home, raised the kids. One of them would work. There was not a whole lot of people living in apartments. There was just a lot of houses in Southern California. You lived in a house and you raised your kids. And nowadays there's apartments everywhere and they're super expensive. I'm shocked at the prices in California. I'm actually shocked at the prices in Georgia nowadays. It's kind of becoming a nationwide problem. Daycare centers are everywhere. We have strangers raising our kids. Why? Because husbands and wives are both having to work. They're both having to take second jobs and they're struggling. They don't have as much money saved. The average American, I think, has less than $1,000 saved. So it's really kind of scary. And if you're on the call tonight or the Zoom and you can relate to that, hey, you know what it is? Maybe you're a little bit afraid. And maybe you make really good money, but you could be laid off at any time. Or maybe you don't have control of your time. You're traveling a lot or you don't get to see your family as much. So to me, to be in a business where you can control your time and your income, and you can really have that real peace of mind. Because for me, it wasn't about cars and trips and all these things. I just wanted to be in this business because I saw the money, because I wanted to be in a position where I had no debt. I had lots of money saved. So I could tell a landlord or utility company to go take a flying leap because I was tired of them banging on the door, looking for my dad as a kid. Like I still have not nightmares, but kind of like I think about it a lot. And I've never ever taken any of the success for granted. But what I want you to know is, we have amazing people in this company. What we do makes a big impact. There's great money to be made, but more importantly, you can do this. You can. And I want you to think for a second, if you could set your dream scenario of where you'd like to be financially, and not a hype thing, like in 3 to 5 years, maybe you have some dream income in your mind that you've always wanted to make. You say, if I was just making that, I would feel secure. I would be able to take the vacations I want to take. I'd be able to help my parents. I'd be able to send my kids to the schools I want to send them to. Whatever that number is for you, and everybody's different. Ask yourself this question. What are the chances of your income going from where it is today to that income you really want, to have that life that you'd really like to have in your current job or in your current business? And the answer for most people is it's not going to happen. Jobs and regular businesses don't pay that much. They just don't. If you have a job, you're hoping somebody quits or dies, and you hopefully possibly might get their job when they leave. It's just scary how it goes on out there. But what I would say to you is, if you have those goals and those dreams, and what you saw tonight resonated at all with you, you might even be a little confused about it. You might think, maybe it's over your head. It's not. I promise you it's not. Give this a chance. Because if what you're doing right now is not going to get you there, then you have 2 options. You can just give up. You can say, I guess I was never meant to have my dream income, never meant to know what it's like to be debt free and have lots of money saved and help my parents and save money and those kind of things. That's not a good option. That hurts. The other one is you got to make some kind of change. Now, if you have something that's changed for you, man, I wish you the best. Go do it, make it happen. I didn't. I had nothing else in my life that could be that change. And a lot of people don't have that change. And I asked him if I could show you something that's honest, legal, ethical, and great for people and can be that change for you. Take your income from where it is today, where you'd like it to be in 3 to 5 years, to live the life you deserve. Would you do it? And most people say yes. And I love it because I'll say, I'm glad you said yes, because every now and then I get someone to say, well, what is it? And I say, well, since when did you get so picky? If it's honest, legal, and ethical and great for people and can take your income to where you want it to be, it could be shoveling horse manure for the next 5 years, 8 hours a day. I would have done it because I did not want to be broke. I did not want to be hurting. I didn't want to be pressured. I wanted to have my dream income. And luckily, it's a lot better than shoveling horse manure. It's amazing. What we do helps people. We're sharing the secrets of the wealthy with middle America. We offer people a chance to, if someone asks me what we really do, we show people how to get out of jobs and business they don't like and take their life back, to change their life, maybe to be the first one in their family that's ever made money. That's what this company's about. So if that message resonates at all, get back with the person that invited you on this meeting tonight and say, look, I'm ready to take that next step. As Christian said there at the end, set the time to take that second appointment, get some of your questions answered, dig in a little bit deeper. Because if you don't, then you're either got something else to be that change or you're giving up and you don't want to give up. Because I think times are just going to get tougher. That income gap between the cost of living and the average wages has been big. It's a huge gap. It's like a 60% gap over the last 30 years. It's getting bigger every year, and AI is going to make it even accelerate faster. Get yourself in a position by being in the biggest industry in the world with a company that has a turnkey system, which we have, with great people like Christian and Alina that go out there to teach you this business, and amazing things can happen for you. I promise you. It happened for me. It's happening for Christian and Chloe. It's happened for Rennie and Ava. It's happening for everyone that's on this call that's in the business, that's putting in the work. Now, it's not get rich quick. You got to put in the work. It's nothing like that. But if you're willing to work and you have a desire to help people and really get ahead, Vantage is the place for you. And so I appreciate you guys being on. I'd love to have you part of this great movement. We're looking for good people who are ready to roll up their sleeves and get to work. And I'd love to meet a lot of you live here, hopefully soon. Maybe on our trip to, we're all going to Riviera Maya here in the spring. Everyone's invited to come to that. Plus we have a contest to get paid. But Christian, thanks for having me on. I love speaking to your group. I love your energy and just I know you crushed it. And I see a good attendance on there, so it's awesome.
Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you. Now, guys, look, let me tell you, we have the best leadership in this industry. I mean, you have a founder like John Benham, who's built and scaled companies at the highest level and now doing it at the ultra highest level in this industry here at Vantage. You've got Jeff Levitan, who was one of the second biggest guy in one of the biggest broker dealers in the country today, that's leading and running the field with us, coaching the agency. You've got Jeff Blahoviak, who's he's our CTO, and he's also a leader in the field as well. Built a strong team of financial professionals and advisors. So guys, what I'm telling you is you get to be the right player playing with the right team. Sometimes you could be the right player in the wrong team, right? And this is your chance to play with the big leagues. This is your chance to really change your life. And, I'll tell you guys this, right? For a lot of you that might resonate, change happens when the pain of staying the same hurts more than the pain of making a change. Right. And so I'm looking forward to welcoming many of you as new partners in this organization, and we can do amazing and big things together. So, Alina, I'm going to go ahead and give it back to you. Thank you, everybody, for your time. John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Christian. Alina, thanks for having me on, both of you.
Awesome.
Wow, guys, give everyone a round of applause here.